Welcome to Smash Writing. I'm Paul. This is Justin. And we knew the days were going to get better when doing this James Bond idea. We're not saying these are S-tier movies,
No.
but we are finally getting to where we're not.
We're slowly climbing that ladder.
Today we are reviewing Live and Let Die. Now this is the first. This technically is the first James Bond film with Roger Moore, and Roger Moore is technically the third or fourth James Bond, depending on if you want to count the non-Ion films, whatever. So he's really our Bond that takes us through the 70s and mid 80s. So Justin, give the plot.
Well, the movie opens up with a UK guy dying during a meeting, and we jump to a funeral procession. Perfect time to collect the guy who's been being killed. That was actually creative as hell. I did enjoy that scene.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that though. But then it goes from funeral procession to Mardi Gras. And then we jump to voodoo dancing, and what the fuck is that snake? We'll get back to that. We get a very weird Bond musical intro to Live and Let Die by George McCarthy. That felt like a sore thumb. Like,
really?
Why is it? Why? That does not belong here. But we jump to Bond's house, and he's about to sleep with this woman when M shows up. Why is the girl hiding?
I don't know.
Is she a minor? What is going on?
I really don't know, because that got me puzzled, because it's like, dude, we all know James Bond sleeps around.
I don't understand why she's hiding.
And then Miss Pennywise was like, okay, Pennyworth, whatever it goes.
Was it Pennywise? I don't know.
I can't
You
remember.
think I'd remember at this point? I'm seeing so many of these Bond movies. Anyway, he's told that three of their past agents have died. It's time for him to go figure out what's going on, and we see a tarot card reader foretelling his arrival and everything. And Kananga, a man named Kananga, is our big bad. Bond is visiting a voodoo shop, and he follows this guy to this bar area, and he's captured at the bar. And we meet Solitaire, the tarot card reader, and a guy with a hook for a hand. Mr. Big comes in for a minute, tells him to just kill him, get him out of here. And he manages to fight off these two guys in an alley, and the CIA agent picks him up, and they're off to San Monica, I believe it is, San Monica.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and we see Baron Samedi putting on a performance. And he goes to rent a room, and he's told his wife that already has rented him a room. And instead of preparing for this situation, he takes a bubble bath and shaves his face. He does locate two bugs though, but we get when he's taking a bath and shaving his face, they drop a snake down there. The snake does not act like the snake does. That's a myth. And you can't catch fire like he does with a spray can and a cigar. Why are you naked? Why are you doing any of this? You know this is all being set up by somebody. And that is a white guy dressed as a black man. They painted his skin black for the introduction of Rosie.
Rosie.
Next day, she gets a star scream from the snake, and then a message of death or whatnot, an omen. Then the next day, they're on their way to the house, and we find out Rosie is a double agent. The house is owned by Solitaire, and he is warned about Rosie's untrustworthiness by receiving a tarot card from someone, Solitaire, and he's able to deduce Rosie's double agentness, and she's killed running away from him. But doing this, we see Kananga talking to Solitaire, and he's threatening to take her powers away from her. we find that Bond is actually in her room messing with her tarot cards when she comes in. And he has her pick a card, and again, for the second time, it is a lover's card that she draws, which leads them to the bedroom. And we see that he rigged the deck, they were all lover's cards.
Yeah.
But we also learn that her powers are tied to her virginity. Hooray. Which kind of makes him an even bigger douche than he already is.
Yeah, because now she doesn't have the gift.
But he's convinced her to come along with him and he'll get her out of there. But not before taking her to go see this Voodoo Funland thing. I can't remember what you call it, and it's just a giant opium field. But we see one of two good black characters die, and the funeral procession again, which automatically loses its effect from earlier whenever. Well, this is just a repeatable thing they do. How do you get all these people on board for that? But they're captured shortly after arriving back in New Orleans, and we learn that Mr. Big is actually Kananga, and he grills Solitaire. She still has her powers, which she fails. Bond is taken to the farm, and he manages to, which is like a pond full of crocodiles. And he manages to escape, and it starts the most long and obnoxious. We're talking gone in 60 seconds long car chase.
The original.
With just pack of racist cops thrown in there, because why the hell not? You know, why not? That's what we need in this movie. And we go back to Santa Monica for this voodoo festival thing again. Ritual sacrifice. I don't know what this thing is supposed to be. We see the snake again. I paused it for a little bit, and I'm like, that is either an emerald tree boa or a green tree python, if they're using a real snake anyway. Because that's the only two that match that snake. Neither of which are venomous.
Yes.
And they'll hurt if they bite you because they got some big teeth, but they're not venomous, and they're not going to...
Our local snake expert here.
He turns. They get captured again, and they're in their little base, and they're suspended up like this. And he cuts them to lure the sharks in as they're being lowered into the water. And he turns his magnet on to extract one of his bullets in a metal lab. You think all of the metal pieces would have just been flung in his direction, which I think would have made a much better scene.
Most likely, probably, because that would be very interesting.
And anyway, Kananga dies by eating the inflatable bullet, or being force fed the inflatable bullet. He explodes. Hookman tracks him down into a train at the end of the movie.
Did we ever get his name?
I don't know.
We're just calling him
I keep calling him Hookman, but that's all I got for you.
fucking Darth Vader.
I'm sure if I looked it up, I'd be able to find it, but I'm not.
Darth Vader arm and shit.
But a fight ensues. Bond throws him off the train, and then at the very end of it, we see Baron Samedi is still alive and on the front of the train.
Just laughing.
Just laughing. I guess from what I saw in the lookup, he was supposed to be a recurring villain and just never came back.
Ah, okay. It just kind of fell through. Alright. First things first, this movie, the plot was at least something you could follow.
Yeah.
Not even just follow, but the editing and everything that was supposed to go into a plot to make it understandable was there too, where you could follow along. I did like the idea that this villain was not some super villain.
Yeah.
He just wanted to sell heroin.
He had a plan to become the biggest monopoly on heroin.
Yeah. Something tells me with this that they had to get grounded, because I think with Roger Moore taking the lead, they probably didn't know how this was going to go.
Yeah.
because Sean Connery, you gotta probably assume everybody wanted Sean Connery. They brought him back after one film, and Roger Moore had a lot to prove, I guess, to the fan base.
It helps that Connery handpicked Moore.
Yeah.
And Moore is a very good James Bond.
Yes.
This movie is just obnoxious. It's not obnoxious. It's stereotypical to a harming level. You couldn't even, like, Rosie herself would be a very fit human being. And you instead brought in a white dude, spray painted him black, and had him do a back bump.
Yeah. I'm not. I would say this, like,
There are only two good black characters. One is a Buttman. You see him twice. And the other one you killed. Every other black person on the screen is a villain. Tied into Connery.
that is actually kind of like.
So it's like you scream about, like, we're diverse, look at here. And like,
Yeah, it
I don't
does
care.
kind of make it racist because it's like you said, every black person is a villain. You're like, come on now, let's.
I wouldn't be, if you would have just had a few, like one or two good black characters. More than what you had. But the one guy had screen time for 2 minutes and one was to die. And yeah, that funeral procession way they got rid of the one body, that was a really fun, really interesting idea. But you did it twice. So you lost all the stakes.
Like I kind of like this. I go back to the plot was follow along. I think and we'll see this in the next James Bond film we do. I think they played up into the genre of films that was coming out, which didn't feel like James Bond because before then you were always dealing with super villains. But then again, at the same time, I did enjoy the down the ground earth.
Oh yeah,
villains.
don't get me wrong. I don't think this is the number one Bond we've seen so far. I still think that's On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But the fact that this is still the second best one we've got is kind of a sad look back on the rest of this full lineup.
Going with Roger Moore as Bond, the way he portrayed Bond is there were still certain scenes we were questioning, okay, he knew going in, by the time he got into his hotel down Santa Monica, that he knows he knew the place was rigged. He still did what he Bond like stuff where, but this time what made it different was he didn't get captured or get his ass kicked. He came out of it you felt like any trap that he was going into, he knew it was a trap, and he wanted to play it along.
This was a much better Bond, much more developed spy.
Yeah.
That worked much better. We didn't have any weird ankle holds like we did with Connery. Like the one guy went to kick him and grabbed his foot and he's twisting it. Like, what are you doing? You're in a fight. You were not wrestling.
His little another element that he enhanced was the when he messes with solitaire and rigging the deck. That was a sharp thing to do because he remembered what played off of it and he went with it.
Now the thing about solitaire, I'm being triggered by this for one reason, is because I read a stupid fucking tweet. 2 weeks ago. Because I follow this one page, they shared stupid tweets people put out. This one person shared this tweet. Women are born with levels of magic that is taken from them every time they have a sexual partner. And that's why whenever you see women with multiple sexual partners, they're dried up husks. And then I watched this movie, I'm like, is this where they got it from?
Probably. That's so weird.
Are you running off of James Bond logic here? It's the same just me. Scorpion King did it too. So I'm wondering if there's something I'm missing here.
I don't know. We gotta look into it then, because kind of a weird thing.
The
there.
sorceress could see, like in Scorpion Kingdom, the sorceress can see in the future, but she loses her power if she has sex.
You gotta look into that then.
I'm not putting that in my Google history. You do that.
I will. I do not mind my.
I'm already on watch list.
So overall, what's your final thoughts on this particular? Because now we're in a new era.
Yeah.
We are now in the Roger Moore. How did it kick off for you?
Better than what we've got.
Yeah, I'll say that.
It is a step in the right direction. They dropped a few points here or there, and they're in a much better place. And Kananga, like I'm complaining about it, like Lafette Kodo did a really good job as Kananga. He really did a good job. He felt like a villain who could take Bond.
Despite only wanting to sell heroin.
Yeah.
I mean, why kill or burn the world down like all these other supervillains when you can just sell heroin and make money?
He's gonna give it away for free too.
Yeah, because he wants everybody hooked on his product. Like he is smart.
He's playing 3D chess here.
And he like, not only was it like, obviously with his political down, other ways, he had to like go with a full disguise and make him look like he was somebody completely else. It wasn't like an alter ego. It was like a complete different person that he had to do. I love the villain. Like, to be honest with you, keeping it down to earth, and like I says, I believe they kind of had to. They just didn't know where this Roger Moore saga was going to go.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes Sean Connery, which I don't know why.
Yeah, that's.
The budget was small too. Like the budget was like literally $7 million.
Yeah.
Like even for this franchise in that time frame, that's small. Considering that Sean Connery's last paycheck from the previous Bond film was 1.2.
Yeah.
So that would have been like a good chunk of that. I don't know. So like my overall thoughts was I enjoyed that we finally get a plot that we could follow along. We get some down to earth villains doing simple things. You don't got to go too big. I don't like the fact that this was an established franchise with a new star, and they kind of played into the generic stereotype things that were going on in that time frame. They could have easily, with their brand of being this James Bond film, altered that whole thing to where, like you said, every black person's not a villain. They're all tied to the villain. No, they don't have to be. That's the stereotype genre crap that they were pulling in that time frame to get everybody on screen for all the wrong reasons. The Bond films didn't need to do that. And it's a trend that we at least see in the next film as well.
From what I was reading, this could be wrong, right? It's just trivia and shit. But the book is worse.
Really?
Yeah, the book is way worse.
Okay. So my positives are I did enjoy the new portrayal of Roger doing Bond. I like this version of Bond so far. This is the Bond to where every time he gets into a trap, you feel like I just mentioned, it feels like he knows it's a trap. To where the Sean Connery Bond, you're just like, it's a freaking trap. This one, you're just like, let's see what happens. Oh, I see what he just did. He played into it. He seems to be a little bit more smarter. The action fight scenes were a little bit more fighting and not like poorly edited to make it look like they're doing something extremely crazy. It was really a down-to-earth movie, and I actually, I generally enjoyed this film, like, big time. Is this so I will give my grade real quick. Is this a A+ movie? No. S tier? No. A-, no. I do think it's probably a low B+, so like 80%, 86%. I thought
a low B plus 80%.
86%.
That is a B. I thought it said 80.
No, I said 86%. Like, I don't want to be like 89. Like that's closer. No, this is closer to where it needed to be. Still a step in the right direction, but yeah, what really crushed it for me was like it didn't really need to play into the stereotypes and so forth.
Yeah.
But an excellent start to Roger Moore compared to what Doctor No when we.
No.
Did we even actually finish it? We were just so sick.
I finished it. The only one I didn't finish was Casino Royale. You didn't finish Thunderball.
Yeah, because I gave it an incomplete how bad it was for me. So yeah, this series has been up and down so far, but a good grade for me.
I'm giving it a C minus.
C minus?
Yeah.
Explain.
A B is something you'd rewatch again.
I could rewatch this. I'll be honest.
I can't.
Okay.
No. It's the use of the snakes. It's like they don't go that way. The shark too. Shark don't eat you.
Didn't you criticize me on one of these films that we did? Because I said a snake doesn't behave that way, and you're like, just focus on the snake. Now that you got a pet snake, you're all like...
Well, I've had snakes for a long time, but at the same time, it's... if you're going to make a shitty movie like this with terrible ass stereotypes, I'm going to call out your bullshit on the animal betrayal.
of all things.
I call it the fire thing, too. You're not starting a fucking flamethrower with hairspray and a cigar.
This Bond loves cigars. Like,
Yeah.
It's a trend that we'll see in the next film as well.
Yeah, he is. He's a cigar smoker. He's not a cigarette smoker like Connery was.
I don't know, this was a great start, though, at least to a new Bond era. That is our review of Live and Let Die. Until next time.
Bye-bye.